I used to wish for life to be simple. A few years ago, before I developed a lot of the things that I'm gonna talk to you about in this video, man, I was in a dark, dark place. And it was primarily because I wasn't living up to my own potential. I'm just gonna keep it 100 with you. I have a lot of conversations with people, and some of them like my new perspective, some of them don't. I've gotten to the point to where I'm really close to not caring what anyone thinks. And that's been a big, big positive breakthrough in my life because I used to care what everybody think. I'm gonna be 100. I gotta be real about this stuff. And then I figure out that my source of oneness, my foundation as a person was my work ethic. And the very things that I was running away from in terms of my background, being non-traditional, getting a GED, going to welding school, having a big family at a young age, it then became my strength once I started getting into corporate America. And what I mean by that is the very thing that I thought was going to be a crutch, the very thing that I would be embarrassed by was my greatest strength. What do I mean by that? The fact that I had the stickability and the work ethic to become a pipe welder. I worked offshore. I worked in shipyards. I took a lot of risks when I was younger, so I would literally leave one place and go to another shipyard if they was paying a little bit more. I don't care if the job was farther away. If I had to travel out of Virginia, from Alabama, if I had to go down to Louisiana to catch the boat or to become a seaman, I took a lot of chances. And I didn't always hit on them. Like, obviously, I didn't hit on everything. It was a lot of things that didn't work. But through all of that, I can tell the difference between me and my peers right now. And shout out to everybody who rock with me. Shout out to the people on my team. Shout out to the people who want to see me continue to improve and do better in life. I love you and I appreciate you for that. But I can look at anyone I come in contact with and I can immediately tell what level they on mentally and what they're willing to give up for the things that they say they want. Now, the caveat to that is having this type of mentality to where you're willing to do whatever it takes within reason. Obviously, I have a high level of character, integrity. My morality overall is very strong on faith-based, and you're going to learn more about that. But I realized that if I continue to develop a winning mindset, to commit to my goals, pick up a second job, have patience, run my own race, if I continue to do these things, over time, I started to develop the type of confidence that you can't really buy. You can't get it from nobody else. You can only get the type of confidence that I have by going through the dark. What do I mean by the dark? The dark is the dark times. We all have specific things that we've been through, and hopefully you have goals just as well as me. So there's a gap between where you are and where you want to go. In between that gap, a lot of bullshit is going to happen. Trust me, it's going to be a lot of things out of your control. What's going to separate you from the people that you're competing with is your ability, your commitment, and your willingness to do what is necessary in order to make that goal happen. The number one thing I learned is that patience and work ethic, you can accomplish anything you want to. Here's why I can't be stopped. I'm going to give you the formula. I learned to love myself in real life. I love some me. Now, if I'm going to be my toughest critic, I also am going to be my biggest support system. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to give you a simple example. When I first started going to the gym about a year ago, I wanted to get bigger. I used to be 145 pounds, soaking wet, with bricks in my pocket and Timberland boots on. I was light in the ass, okay? I was very, very small. And I said, you know what? My goal was to get to 175. So where I came up with that number from, I have no idea. I don't know, but I know that was like a 30-pound gain. That's a significant gain. And my problem was I had a real hard time eating, still to this day, have a hard time eating a lot of food. And I would burn more calories daily than what I would intake. So I can never gain weight. It wasn't until I sat down and I created my goal for me. I stopped looking at how big other people it is. I stopped thinking about what my girl gonna like, what my chick gonna, blah, blah, blah. Stop thinking about all that shit. And I said, okay, if I gotta eat 5,000 calories, I don't wanna be 175. That's ridiculous. But what I can do is, what if I just commit to working out 3 times consistently every week? And no matter how many times I start and stop, it's just keep doing it. And I started iterating different things. Okay, so I didn't go to the gym yesterday because I couldn't find my shoes. All right, so tonight, let me put my shoes by the door. Okay, I didn't go to the gym because the gym membership lap, I didn't put that money to the side. Okay, cool. Let me make sure I put the money to the side to pay the gym. So I started doing these little things, start doing it. And then over time, eventually those 3 days turned into 4. And then my peak was probably like 5 times a week I was working out. Right now to this day, walking around, not soaking wet. I'm 162, between 161 and 163 pounds. The most I ever got up to was 163.8. But that took me like over a year to gain 17, 18 pounds. And then once I got to this weight, I said, you know what? Wait, wait a minute. I like this. And that goes back to my first point. I made sure that my gym goal and my body goal was aligned with what I wanted. And once I got to that point, I said, okay, cool. I like being 160, 162. Let's just maintain this. One of the biggest problems as to why you would get stopped in life is that you're pursuing goals that's not even of your own. I'm going to say that again. A lot of us are pursuing goals that are not even our true desires. So it's easy to give up when you don't feel like going. It's easy to make excuses for not doing what you know you need to do. And then the third thing would be, as you're going through these ups and downs, as you're going through the inevitable peaks and valleys, as I call them, okay, you miss one day, give yourself a break. I give myself so much grace, but at the same time, I'm still firm enough to hold myself accountable for what I'm not doing too. I think a lot of us get that mixed up between you can be incredibly too hard on yourself versus being too lenient and you're not holding yourself accountable. There's a fine line in there somewhere to where you can appreciate what you're doing and then hold yourself accountable and split the difference to where you're as consistent as you want to be and that you become unstoppable in your own right. Nothing that happens in my life, and I mean nothing, can stop me from achieving my goals. Consider it done already. Now it's just a matter of time of, okay, what do I need to do to get to this point? Here's where I am right now. Boom, let's do this consistently and just keep going and iterating the plan. In essence, guys, becoming unstoppable is very simple. It's a simple concept. Put it like that. It's very simple from a context standpoint, conceptually, but in action, in practice, that's what a hard things come in at. Because to be candid with you, it is incredibly hard to stay consistent. It is. So let me know down below, what can you use these last 3 months of the year to become unstoppable for? Like, what are your goals? What are you aiming for? What is your version of being unstoppable? Let's talk about it in the comment section. I love you. I appreciate you. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on the notification bell so you can get updates. We're dropping videos every week.